Hello and welcome to day 16 of Alignment is an Inside Job, the Summer of Coherence. This is a 3-month experiment that I began on the summer solstice with the intention of living in deeper alignment with my soul's purpose and path and noticing what feels supportive, where my energy's going, and what feels aligned in my life. Today's field note is about alignment and how every day it's not going to look the same. And some days might look amazing and wonderful and everything's going smoothly and things are lining up. And other times it's going to be a little bit messy. And so the point about it is that alignment really is about returning to what is true, especially on those days when things feel a little bit rough around the edges. And so what I'm noticing is that the other day I had a few wobbly moments where I really just felt lost. And instead of seeing that as a failure, I just saw that as information. And I started looking into it and I started thinking about what was really happening. And what I was reminded of was this experience I had a few years ago where I I had the experience of understanding what it's like to have all of my energy in my own frame. Because for most of my life, my energy was scattered so many different areas that it was in so many different like other people and I was doing some practices and I realized like all of my energy is in me, with me. It's not scattered here, it's not scattered there. It was in me. And it felt so good. And it also felt a little bit odd too. But I had one of those moments where it was like the first few days, it was just like feeling like totally blissed out. And then it started to feel a little bit odd, and I started to feel lost. And I thought, what, that's so odd. But what I realized, like that's when you feel lost, a lot of times that's the moment of integration because you have reached a level where you're actually operating in a different way. And so it's like that transition between two different worlds, the old way and then the new way. And so it's really exciting when it's the new because it's this new thing. It's like wearing a new outfit. But then it feels like, okay, wow, okay, now like this is my new, like everything you do is from that place. And so it starts to feel a little bit odd. And when I saw that a few years ago, that feeling of being lost, I just said, oh, okay, I understood what was happening. And I just said, oh, this is my new way. And so that was how I felt the other day because the beginning of this alignment practice, I I did align to a new level where I had a lot of quiet and I had this new connection to myself and I felt like I'm on my own team, like all parts of me are on my own team and we're gonna go. And then the other day I was just like, what's happening? I feel lost. And I also just felt unmotivated, like I didn't want to do anything. And I was just tired because I was integrating this new way of being. And so sometimes a wobble might, at first it might look like failure and you might feel terrible about yourself and that you're not doing anything right. And, you could go down that rabbit hole, but really, if you really dig into a wobble, sometimes the wobble is noticing that things have changed in a positive way for you. And you're just in a place of integration. And so the wobble that I had the other day happened because I was in that period of integration, and I'd also let in World Cup soccer. I caught soccer fever and I was watching a lot of soccer, and I was also doing my word games. I love doing the New York Times word games. And I just started to feel that disconnect from myself. And so that there was that wobble too, because there was the lost part, but then I started allowing the distractions back in. And so that's where I am coming back to this space of saying, oh, I was just integrating that previous last couple weeks. And the evidence of that is like I actually miss those habits that I formed a couple weeks ago. I miss that connection to myself. I miss the stillness. I miss the quiet. I miss just having more space in my whole in my within myself and within my whole way of being. And the desire to return is evidence that the new pattern is already alive in me. And what does alignment mean for me is allowing myself to be authentic enough to be seen in my vulnerability. It's about managing my field through stillness, coherence, breath, and resonance. It's about creating for service without performance. It's about building community by sharing something that's useful to people. And it's about taking right action without forcing. Alignment is when my inner truth, my energy, my choices, and my actions are moving in the same direction. And so I am returning to more silence, more stillness, listening to my breath, limiting content, moving energy through my body, walking in nature, following my highest joy, and taking aligned action without forcing. Sometimes alignment begins by turning down the noise so I can hear my breath again. Coherence is not about constancy. I do not have to be strong all the time. I only need to be true. A wobble does not mean that I'm out of alignment forever. Pain is not a distortion. It's just a signal or a sign or information. The signal only gets distorted when it's suppressed. The practice is to let it move, to let it breathe, and to let it show you what needs your attention. Again, the wobble is not failure. The wobble is your invitation to return. Today's micro practice is return to your own frame practice. And so let's put your hand on your heart. Let's close down your eyes. Take a deep inhale. Let it go. One more time. Deep inhale. Let it go. Last time. Inhale. And let it go. And now ask, what noise do I need to turn down? And then ask, what am I trying not to feel right now? And then finally, what would help me return to my breath, my body, and my truth? Just listen. And so the answer might come to you in those moments, or it might come to you at a later time. All of that's okay. You don't have to force anything. You'll just notice that when you ask something, or just start noticing when you ask something, trust that you will get an answer. Today's mini experiment is to choose one way to return to your own frame today. Maybe it's taking a walk without listening to anything. Maybe it's listening to silence for 5 minutes. Or maybe it's limiting your content for an hour. It could be journaling. Maybe it's putting your feet in the earth. It could be stargazing. Whatever it is, choose one. I would love to know what your coherence receipt is in the comments below. Let me know what shifted for you when you turn down the noise and you listen to yourself. May your breath return you to presence, coherence, and alignment. And remember, the sun amplifies the field, coherence nourishes the seed, and every return strengthens the signal. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.